right, 7 mana here for Anderson. Way more than that, of course, because of Wilderness Reclamation. Todd without it looks like a copy of Expansion Explosion in hand at the moment.
Yeah, had to use that last turn just to copy his repulse.
If you're wondering what Todd's outs are in this situation as he plays a Chemister's Insight with Jumpstart, of course you can check out the Cardboard Live deck list in the app that is live on your Twitch page right now. As there is a shock on Terramander. This is a radical idea. Todd's picked up a copy of, I think that was a Lava Coil, which is a sorcery. But Todd has another copy of Shock in hand. I don't know if he's going to make it out of this turn because Ryan could just say, cast Arclight Phoenix and attack you. That's kind of an easy way to do it.
You want to know a little interesting piece of trivia here?
Talk to me.
Todd said, I almost played a Crashing Canopy main, but I just decided to cut it for another Lava Coil.
Oh, no. That might come back to hurt him now. And there's a copy of Discovery. Surveil both those cards to the graveyard. That's spell 1 for the turn. Well, okay, let's see. Ryan going to play Tormenting Voice. Okay. That will resolve. 1-2. Does Ryan have a third spell to play to get the other Phoenix back? That's the big question. He's picked up a copy of Chart a Course. Oh, he doesn't. All right, Todd makes it out of his turn. Shock there. There's Sulfur Falls. Now, you got to believe if you're Todd. All right, those are coming back next turn.
Yeah.
So, I got to be ready.
He's gotten so many looks at it.
Yep, I got to be ready. That's a split card. That's powerful. That's Explosion Expansion. Can Todd ever get Primal Amulet set up?
Yeah, the problem is even he can have a big turn here, but if he taps out, he knows those Phoenixes are coming back. He kind of needs 2 removal spells. It's hard to do that through the Expansion Explosion. I mean, he can just pass, right, and then try to hope to kill a Phoenix and draw a Shock or something like that.
All right. Well, we're going to start by deploying Primal Amulet. That's what Todd's going to do.
Right. If your plan here is to try to hope that you can expand Expulsion into something impactful, then the mana on your turn here to use is free.
All right. Well, there's a radical idea. Jumpstart. That's going to be the first of 4 counters here on the Amulet. So 3 to go. Draw a card. I think that may have been a Chemister's Insight. Trigger, float, untap. So there's 2 mana floating here for Todd. And I think, yeah, this only costs 3, so that's spell 2. Does he want to fork it? I think he's thinking about forking it. Because that would be spell 3, but he's not gonna. All right, 1, 2. 2 lands is not what the doctor ordered, that's for sure. All right, can Overturf cobble together 3 spells? I would be shocked again if he couldn't. It is possible that he can't, and he needs Chart a Course to be pretty good. Now, this is spell 1. Enigma Drakes, plural in hand, discard a Steam Vents.
I think that it looks like he's just sitting on some removal spells here.
Oh, my goodness, he's going to make it out of this turn alive, too, isn't Todd? Yes, he is. Enigma Drake passed the turn back. Let's see what Todd is going to do now.
All right, we're done. I think we're
this might be just double up Fireball, right?
Yeah.
We might be in that territory.
I think we're done.
This will be a Chemister's Insight. Todd will draw 2 more cards. He's going to fire off a Shock upstairs. Yeah, I think you're right there, partner. That's 4 counters on the Primal Amulet. Transform. Let's take a look at its better half. Primal Wellspring. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. When that mana is spent to cast an instant or sorcery spell, copy that spell, and you may choose new targets. Fireball! We are done, see. If he can make it out alive at 1 life again.
He's been at 1 a lot.
He's going to be good to go. Todd Anderson is going to win game number 1 here over Ryan Overturf. Team of Reclamation up a game over Is It Phoenix. Barely held on. Overturf's going to take a look at his sideboard. We'll start there as well. Shivan Fire. There are 4 of those. 3 Spell Pierce, 3 Negate, 3 Disdainful Stroke, another copy of Lava Coil, and a Beacon Bolt. You said it got tougher for Todd. It's hard to argue.
Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty obvious Spell Pierce, Negate, Disdainful Stroke matchup. Now we go over to Todd's sideboard. He's kind of got a structure here to fight through this sort of stuff. 4 Negates, 3 Crushing Canopy, 3 Niv Mizzet Perrin, 3 Murmuring Mystic, 2 Lava Coil. I would expect the Crushing Canopies and the creatures especially to come in here. The creatures are great for this kind of matchup.
Now, again, this kind of begs the question about Wilderness Reclamation and if you're supposed to leave it in. Now, obviously, he would not have won that game without it. And he's playing against a red-blue deck that can't stop it once it's on the battlefield in most instances. Maybe there's a blink of an eye hanging out in Ryan's deck list, and I guess I can look, and you guys can at home too, because of Cardboard Live, you are not going to find any. So once it's there, but it seems like it's only getting harder to resolve.
Yeah, I think, when you're playing against the Gruul decks and there's the risk of disenchants, it becomes a lot easier to cut, in my opinion. Here, it's tricky because it's not like Ryan's very good at getting the enchantment off of the battlefield, but you have to slog through so many counter spells. It may be easier to bail on that stuff because Spell Pierce and Negate, not very good against Mermaid Mystic or Niv Mizzet. Niv Mizzet's just very powerful here, I think, in general. Not an easy card for Overturf to handle. And it may be easier just to try to play a control game with card drawing or removal spell and win with the creatures than try to do any of the combo stuff.
Yeah, what I love about Todd's sideboard is his ability to kind of shift, right? He can go to Niv Mizzet here, which is great in this matchup. We saw that last standard season in the Izzet Drake's Mirror. I think he's probably going to lean on that card and Murmuring Mystic to bridge the gap to Niv Mizzet. And, he's got 2 games to get it done with here. Do I think he'll leave some copies of Wilderness Reclamation in? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2. But he doesn't need the full 4.
Ryan does a fair bit of tapping out on his own turn or tapping low because he's trying to chain together a bunch of spells in one turn to either get Arclight Phoenix back or enhance one of his Drakes. So, it might be, if he leaves up 1, maybe you can push through a Spell Pierce or something like that. Still may be worth leaving the enchantment in, but I could see Todd totally bailing on that stuff too and just becoming a control deck with some creatures.
Well, that gives you an idea of what both of these players are working with. We'll watch game number 2 between these 2 colleagues in just a moment. But we are very quickly going to talk about Versus Live, which is where if you've been watching every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. East Coast time, you've been seeing Todd Anderson work on this deck for weeks. He loves Primal Amulet. He loves Wilderness Reclamation. He and Ross Merriam are battling it out every Tuesday and Thursday, working on their decks. To Ross's credit, Izzet Drakes wouldn't be a thing in Modern without him and his updates. Yeah. So he's done a great job on that deck. Todd's doing a great job with his Team of Reclamation deck. And, of course, we always want to interact with our audience at home there. So twitch.tv/SCGTour. Bring your ideas. Bring some fun like we do every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. East Coast time, where we do watch Todd Anderson quite a bit. And if you've been watching the SCG Tour for a while, you have seen the 32-year-old who resides in Roanoke, Virginia, win quite a bit. Only 7 opens played for Todd in 2018, but he still found some time to top 8 one of them. However, it's those all-time stats, Patrick, with 32 top 8s and 6 wins that are very impressive.
And it's not exactly like he was grinding super hard in 2018 either, with only 7 opens played in that lone top 8. So he's been putting up those top 8 finishes for a very, very long time, and I think the return of the Players' Championship plus Wilderness Reclamation has inspired Todd to maybe get back on the grind a little bit.
Well, at the very least, he said he wasn't going to miss this Open. Now, I know he loves doing commentary. I got to do some shows with him last year. He and Ryan Overturf, they'll be working together all year long here in 2019. They're a great pairing, but Todd said, no way, I can't miss the opportunity to cast Wilderness Reclamation in week 1. Are you kidding me?
You might only have a couple months.
Yeah,
if you're into it, you got to get in now.
Time could be limited. Todd making the most of it thus far with a 3-1 start here this weekend and up a game over his buddy Ryan Overturf. So these players will shuffle up and be given the green light here in just a moment. The big narrative this weekend is how good is Wilderness Reclamation? You saw in that last game just how good it could be. In Todd's case, how easy is it to transform Primal Amulet into Primal Wellspring? In that last game, not too tough. No. Steam vents again for both players. Anderson's does enter the battlefield tapped. Overturf's got himself an up. That's why he's at 18. Overturf will draw a card. He'll play Terramander. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ryan only with 1 land. Todd will play a Stomping Grounds tapped. Ryan has drawn a land. He is okay. This is a deck, for what it's worth, that does not play that many lands.
No. You have a lot of the cantrips and cyclers and such.
It'll be a Chart of Course. And this is part of the reason that Ryan likes Terramander in this deck, is that Terramander has a lot of upside just because of its natural text and adapt and all the other stuff, but it is a way to turn on Chart of Course into draw 2 cards.
Right. And he said, like he said, it's a mixture of those 2 things. One, to improve Chart of Course, and the other, he said, I've been tombstalkering people quite a bit today. Just play and do everything in 1 turn after you spend some turns spinning some tires. And this is a deck that really needs some help playing catch-up, because you often spend your first couple of turns not really doing a whole lot and just cantripping and manipulating material and such. So having something you can do for 3 mana where it's, now you got a 5/5 flyer on the cheap, the deck needs those kind of plays to do a little bit of catch-up.
Discovery is going to be played here by Ryan Overturf. In response, you saw Todd Anderson cast Crushing Canopy. It was integral for Todd in his round 1 win that we saw on camera. It might be integral to this one as well. And I will say this, as we, of course, make our way through our rounds here this week, and I'm always keeping my eyes out for what are some of the good sideboard cards and good cards in general we've seen. Crushing Canopy has been very nice so far this weekend.
Yeah, and Todd told me, and we mentioned earlier here, almost just played it in the main.
Murmuring Mystic will enter the battlefield here for Todd. We'll see if Ryan has an answer. He's going to go to Enigma Drake. Now, as powerful as Enigma Drake may be, that Drake does not have trample, my friend.
No, you can jump that thing for a long time.
We head back over to Anderson. It'll be a stomping ground here for Todd. Worth noting, by the way, as Todd on his last turn tapped that 4 mana for a spell, Overturf does play Spell Pierces. That's a pretty common card in the format, but it wasn't something that was spell pierceable in Murmuring Mystic.
Right, and that's why I think the sideboarded creatures are so important for Anderson here, because the spells, they're just going to be generally tough to get to resolve. Overturf has so much in the way of counter spells. The creature's a little bit more reliable. Only got to worry about Disdainful Stroke there.
It'll be another copy of Enigma Drake here for Ryan Overturf. This will be a Chemist's Insight. We're going to see if this resolves. Of course, the token's going to come along with it from the Murmuring Mystic. But we'll see if the Insight does resolve, and it will. So Todd will pick up 2 cards. He'll be untapping some lands here. He'll be drawing a card. And now would be a pretty darn good time for old Niv Mizzet if Todd has it, as he picks up a copy of Rootbound Crag. Todd trying to decide if there's any attacking to be done at this stage of things. I'd be shocked if there were. So he's going to go reaching for some mana after he plays that Rootbound Crag, see what spell he wants to play. He'll tap 4 mana once again. He's going to try to resolve Primal Amulet. That's going to get negated, and we are... Ooh, baby. Whoo, baby! Expansion that, which will copy the negate to counter the negate to get the Primal Amulet on the battlefield and give Todd a 1/1 flyer.
What's that Garbo cantrip that gives your things trample?
Crash Through. He's going to need it.
He's got 4 of them, though.
Yes, he does. Now, I do wonder if it's still in the deck, and I'd be surprised if it wasn't. And he's already got 1 in his hand, so yeah, here we go. There's a Crash Through. Now, these Enigma Drakes are pretty big. You see Ryan doing the count on how big his creatures are. He'll play a Sulphur Falls. This will be a Tormenting Voice. He's doing a little bit of counting because I think there might be some interest for Ryan for spell piercing his own spell or something like that. He'll discard 2 negates, and yep, that's going to do it because Crash Through's text really big there, giving all of his creatures trample as Todd was trying to go into chump block mode with those flyers from Murmuring Mystic.
Yeah, it's not like you need a whole lot of juice on top of 1 mana draw a card to have it show up, especially in a deck like this where there's so many payoffs for casting spells in general. But that text was not trivial there. I don't know if Overturf would have been able to push through those Mystic tokens, but Crash Through got the job done.
Yeah, you call it a garbage card, and generally I agree with you.
Some Garbo Cycler, but
good there.
Text was awesome.
Yeah. Fair enough. Take a look at the sideboards here. Again, both players going to kind of go back to a little bit. Now, what I'm curious here, partner, is Ryan is obviously going back to the drawing board. He's just saw Murmuring Mystic. Do you think, I mean, Shivan Fire doesn't kill it. Maybe a Disdainful Stroke, but I would think those are already in.
Yeah, just play through it.
Yeah?
I mean, you have flyers. You have the ability to Grand Trample. You're not really doing a whole lot on the ground, so the 1/5 doesn't matter. And I don't think it's worth sideboarding, going out of your way to sideboard to try to answer that thing.
Alrighty. It is time now, before game number 3 is underway, to talk about our Season 1 schedule here on the SCG Tour. Now, of course, we kick things off in Columbus, where Omar, Dom, and Tark Patel, they got second place that weekend. Ethan Gajewski and his team got first place that weekend. I mentioned the former team, though, because, well, Dom won Worcester and beat his friend and teammate Tariq in the finals of that tournament. That's why Tariq is in second place and Dom is in first on our SCG Tour leaderboard. We're here in Indy. We're going to crown our champion eventually, and then next weekend, we're going to Baltimore, and after that, you and I in Dallas.
Yeah, and then after Dallas, that gets us to March with Syracuse, which is Legacy. The regional championships, go.starcitygames.com/regionals for more information. We've listed all the venues, so all the information is up there. After that, we head to Philadelphia for a Modern Open. After Philadelphia, Cincinnati, which will be team constructed. That gets us to April. The Land, Cleveland, Ohio, Modern, April 6th and 7th. May has Richmond, which is standard. Syracuse again, which is standard. And then a Modern Open in Louisville, Kentucky. After that, the Season 1 Invitational SCG Con, Berglund Center, Roanoke, VA, June 7th through 9th, Modern and Standard as the formats.
Of course, we got playmats for all you fine people there at home, and of course, we'd love to see you at each and every single one of those locations for our standard, open, and classic players. It's Botanical Growth by Victor Adame Minguez. For our modern players, that's of course the Star Crowned Angel by Greg Staples, and for our legacy players, that'll be Loftstone Citadel by Adam Paquette. Keep in mind, all these playmats are free and exclusive, but they were designed specifically for this purpose here on the SCD Tour. So you're not going to find those on Magic cards, folks. Again, Botanical Growth for Standard, Star Crowned Angel for Modern, and Loftstone Citadel for Legacy. Go to starcitygames.com/schedule for more information as we get ready here for game number 3 between Ryan Overturf and Todd Anderson. They'll be given the green light here in just a moment, and then we'll be working ourselves towards our backup match, our time-shifted match, soon enough, as Todd will be on the play. Stomping Ground will enter the battlefield tapped. For Ryan Overturf, it's a Steam Vents untapped. Sulfur Falls here for Todd untapped, of course, because of the Stomping Ground. It'll be an opt here for Ryan Overturf. Ooh. Growth Spiral while the man is down. Wants to make sure he gets that land on the battlefield. Smart. Very smart.
Do not want that to get spell pierced.
Nope. Sulfur Falls past the turn back. Back to Todd. He'll take 2. Is he going to try to jam a Wilderness Reclamation? No, he's going to jam something he's pretty sure will resolve. Well, Disdainful Stroke is going to stop it, but I think Todd might be okay with that because I think he does have a copy of Wilderness Reclamation in hand.
It's not a bad bet to make, too. The Disdainful Stroke is going to be good regardless, but it's an opportunity to resolve something through either Spell Pierce or Negate that's impactful.
Oh, boy. The window is open for Wilderness Reclamation. Todd is going to float a mana. He will untap. This is the fear for Overturf because while he's really good at stopping it from getting on the battlefield, once it's here, it's bad news.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to tap out to get something going, and that is really bad news.
Anderson will opt. What else is he going to do? He's going to play Crushing Canopy and clear that up, which means the battlefield is clear for him, which means if Ryan wants to do something relevant, he's going to have to tap some mana on his own turn. Another Enigma Drake. Land tapped. Well, it's showtime, folks. There's an island. Trigger, untap trigger. Kaboom! This might not be okay.
Let's find out. We'll find out.
This might not be okay.
I don't know, full rebate into 10 mana into...
Todd is having the time of his life. Hey, you said it. Todd called his shotgun this week, and he said, I'm winning this tournament.
Yeah.
He said, I am going to win this tournament. He's been at 1 a lot. 1 has not been none. And with turns like that, it's hard to argue. That thing's probably dead soon. We'll go back over to Todd. Breeding Pool, the draw. He's at 18. Jeez. Tap a bunch of mana. Yep. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Cool.
That's a free Niv visit.
That's cool.
That's super, super fun and cool. Better get that backup match ready. We're going to be going over there soon. Yeah. Yeah. No Nexus of Fate necessary here.
No.
Here's an opt trigger. Gonna ting that with Niv, I believe. Yeah, so he gets a draw card from the instant and then do the opting.
Right.
There we go. Ting that again. Yep. How about another opt? Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. That's dead. Yep. What else you got there, Anderson? Oh, 800 cards in hand. Okay. Discard a land. It's Ryan's turn.
Come on, Ryan. Big turn. Big turn coming.
I'm going to start here. Discovery. Yeah. Big turn. Big turn. Tig turn. Might be time to get that Tig-tone ad read up soon. That is it. Yeah. That is it. Todd Anderson going to win this match over Ryan Overturf. 2-1. Wilderness Reclamation is
really normal.
Totally fine.
Really extremely cool and normal. All right, well, whatever. Let's just... Here's the thing that bothers me. It's not so much can the metagame handle this. Red decks win on turn 4, and, there's counterspells you can play. Are the decks that are just collections of creatures and removal spells just non-starters with this going on? To say nothing of their matchups with the red decks, which aren't necessarily that good either. That's the worry that I have.
Yeah.
Your Golgari cards deck with Chupacabras and Vivian Reed and stuff.
Stinks.
That's, and every deck that's in that
in
sort
that
of
space.
case, yeah. Which, in most healthy standard meta games makes up a lot of the field.
It does. It does.
Is that stuff just not even a starting point?
You know what's interesting about that game, and this is some great deck building here by Todd. All kidding aside, leading with Murmuring Mystic, which he should, because if that resolves, he gets to do his thing with that. Ryan has to stop that because that early. And how Todd's deck plays is going to be a problem. So he uses Disdainful Stroke there, which he should, and which means he doesn't have one for Wilderness Reclamation. And so there is a world in a conversation, right, where you just say, I'll just let that resolve, and I'll say this Wilderness Reclamation. Well, he might just lose that way,
right?
If he does that, and that also.